Hello and welcome to Clay to Canopy, the show where I attempt to make just about everything from the ground up. In today's video, I am going to be showing you how to take your leftover Thanksgiving meal and turn them into a Bedfordshire Clanger. Now, I am in love with the Great British Bake Off, and one of the challenges was to make a Bedfordshire Clanger. And I thought that that would be an amazing way to use up your Thanksgiving leftovers. It takes the Thanksgiving sandwich to a new level because it puts all of those same ingredients into a puff pastry. So this Thanksgiving, you're gonna wanna pick up a couple boxes of some puff pastry dough so that you can make these Bedfordshire Clangers the day after Thanksgiving. A Bedfordshire Clanger combines your savory with the sweet. So I'm going to be creating this pastry with 2/3 to 1/3 so that the savory part of the meal, so your Thanksgiving ingredients, and then the last third will be the dessert, and in this case it is going to be pumpkin pie filling, and I'm going to just be using some of the filling of my already pre-baked pumpkin pie. With the Bedfordshire Clanger, since all of the ingredients are going to be pre-cooked, follow baking instructions for the puff pastry itself and you're good to go. To get started, we're going to need to prep our dough. Flour your prep surface and then lay out one of your rolls. Each box usually comes with 2 rolls. I always do a little bit of rolling out. Okay, I'm not doing too much, but just a little bit. Get out any of the wrinkles. Now, depending on the kind of puff pastry you buy, it may already have those folds. Generally, I'm able to get 3 out of this because I like healthy servings. So I'm going to go ahead and divide this into 3. Going to set aside 2 while I work with the 1. So I have a small bowl of water, and you want to take a sliver, which will become your side wall, about a 1/2 inch. Set that aside. Then we're going to be folding up the edges at a 1/2 inch. I'll want to do the same at the top and the bottom. Now for the corners, you can just do this pinching action. Sometimes it's just easier. Just come in and pinch my corners. That little bit of water helps the dough stick. And then your little extra piece there is going to become your dessert. So you'll want to do your 1/2 inch fold in and determine how much of that's going to be dessert. That looks like a good portion. Always also try and get that bottom down. So what I do is I just take a finger and blend that bottom a little bit so you can really keep the dessert divided from the savory part. Now this one strip has only made the bottom of my boat. That second puff pastry sheet is going to become the tops. I'll set this aside while I continue to make boats out of the other 2. Get a little pinch going at the bottom. If you don't like these little tails sticking out, you can go ahead and tuck them over. Sometimes I do that, provides a little bit of extra support. And I go ahead and prep the next dough for the tops because we're going to want to make sure that as soon as we get these filled, we can get the dough tops on. After I cut this into 3 sections, I need to save that little bit of extra dough for an indicator as to which end has the dessert. So I want to make sure I save just a tiny scrap of the dough to do that. And since I folded up the sides, this should be automatically larger than what I need. I am going to fold down some of the sides. Should be plenty, and if not, you can always roll it out a little bit extra if need be. I'll go ahead and take a small scrap from the bottoms, set them aside. Time to begin filling. I think a safe bet is to start with a layer of mashed potato at the bottom. You can do these any way you want to. I think next I'll go with my meat. Of course, you can always make these meatless. Gonna need a bigger boat. Well, stay in your lane. I think it might be time for a little bit of gravy. A little bit of green bean. I think I'm gonna have to cut up these sweet potatoes a bit. Just do spurts. That way you get spurts of a mouthful. Come on, you guys, stay in your lane. This smells so good. Oh, just take a finger, clean up that stuff. All right, we're almost there. Little bit of some butternut. Have to be selective now, filling in my spaces here. And the very last thing, some cranberry sauce. All that's left is to get our pumpkin pie filling into that top. Of course, you could use any pie filling that you have. Apple pie, blackberry. I saved a little bit of my extra pie to get in here. And I'm just gonna use the filling. Gonna roll out my dough a little bit more. Make sure I have enough. I do want it to come down over the edges. And I'm gonna use the water trick again. Make sure you get a good connection. Cover over my first one. You might have to do a bit of pinching along the sides. Pinch up against your border. I just poke a couple air holes. Cut this into whatever shape. Okay. You can go ahead and get this one onto my cookie sheet. So not a bad idea to lay in some parchment paper. Reuse the parchment paper that the dough came with. Keep on going, closing up my other two. So my dough says to bake for 20 to 30 minutes. So I'm gonna just set my timer and then we'll be back here to show you the result. All right, you guys, they are out of the oven. They look amazing. I cannot wait to dig into these. I did want to just say that I used a gluten-free crust, so they did not puff up and get as flaky as a regular puff pastry would. So if you use a regular puff pastry, just keep that in mind. They will expand, so make sure you give yourself a little bit more room on the cookie sheet. That's basically all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, share, and subscribe if you have not done so already, and I hope to see you soon. They're glorious. Look at them. Just want to eat them. Hurry up and cool. Hot cross buns. Hot cross buns. Come on. Cool already. I'm starving. As I always say, never trust a chef who doesn't eat their own food.